My dog stepped on a bee.
Now, you may be watching this video thinking that to be a feminist means, for some reason, siding with any woman who has ever existed, including Amber Heard. So you probably think I'm making this video to try to somehow defend Amber Heard, but you are dead wrong.
You are dead wrong.
Because in this video, I will actually be trashing Amber Heard. Just kidding. I will be talking about why Amber Heard being exposed for the lying, manipulative, abusive, money-hungry, cheating woman that she is actually maybe one of the best things that could have happened for modern-day feminism. What? But how, Alexia? Well, let me explain. Historically, as I'm sure many of you are already aware, women have been viewed as not being as capable as men. So in terms of physical strength, emotional strength, just in our ability to do things, we've not historically been viewed as the sex that can have the biggest impact on the world. Now you may think, oh well, women just want to be viewed as being just as strong as men, heroic, powerful, etc, etc. But actually, what women, and I think feminism really is trying to want, is for women to be viewed as being capable of making an impact, for better or for worse, as men. So because Amber Heard being clearly an abusive, evil woman, she has proven on a very large scale, demonstrated to the whole world, that women are capable of things. Even if they're bad, they should be viewed as being just as capable of being abusers as men, because guess what? Shock horror, women are just as capable, in general, as men. Now, I have just explained briefly why I think Amber Heard may have actually been a good thing for modern-day feminism, but I have just realised that a lot of people may not actually be operating from a place of knowing what feminism truly is. So we're going to wind this back a little bit and I can explain to you what I define as feminism so that we know what I'm actually talking about going forward. So the reason why I think a lot of people probably think that any feminist in this situation will side with Amber Heard regardless of the facts of the case is because I think a lot of people have a warped view of feminism, thinking that feminism sides with the female all the time. This is not the case, because feminism should side for what is equal and fair, with gender or biological sex hardly playing a role in decision making at all, because that is what true equality would look like. If feminists were to always side with the female, that would actually be putting females on a pedestal above men, and that's not gender equality. That's women being put on a pedestal. And a lot of people say, well, if feminism is about equality, then why didn't you just call it equalityism or, human rights? Why call it feminism, starting with a female? That doesn't make any sense at all. And the reason why feminism is called feminism and not equalityism, even though it means equality, is because feminism is an acknowledgement that historically females have been underneath men, and so in order to achieve the equality that we all want, women and females have to be brought up to the level of men, hence feminism. I'm going to show you some lovely graphs that I made in Procreate so that you can hopefully understand this concept better. So do you see how saying I believe in equality simply is not enough when we're not all on an equal footing in life to begin with? We need to help to lift females up so that they can be viewed as equal, so that then we can enforce equality that already exists. This is in a utopian society that hopefully will exist soon in the future, but I don't know how long that's going to take. And if after all this you think that we don't need feminism anymore because women are in fact equal already, so we just need equality now, that's demonstrably not the case, but I think that is a video for another time because there is a whole lot to delve into there. So feminism means feminism, even if equality can be kind of painful in how fair it is. And the reason I say this is because a lot of the assumption that women are inferior, less capable to men, comes with some surface level, what you might think of as perks for women, such as having the door held for you because you're too weak to hold it yourself, or being paid for at dinner because women aren't the main breadwinner, so they can't be expected to pay over a man paying for them. These things look on the surface like, oh, women have it better than men, but what you need to understand is these things exist because of an assumption that women are less capable than men, and that's not okay. So feminism is basically striving for a world where decisions do not actually need to be made based on whether someone is female presenting or not, but rather what makes the most sense depending on the situation. For instance, I've heard some people say, oh well, feminists want equality until they have to pay for their meal because they don't get everything on a silver platter, you princesses. And it's like, no, I as a feminist want equality, even if that means paying my way sometimes because I am better off maybe than the person that I'm seeing, or maybe because we've agreed to go halves, or for any reason that isn't based on what's between my legs. That is the kind of equality I want, even if on the surface I lose some of the perks of being viewed as less capable than a man. I'd much rather that and be seen as equally capable as a man than to have my drinks paid for sometimes. I'd rather have a system where people can pay for drinks if they want to, or if one person is currently more financially well off than the other, and not because one is female and one is male. That's not what I want to happen in this world. This is the world that I believe all feminists should want, because that is a world based on equality, not women being superior to men. And I think a lot of people think that because feminism is about lifting women up to the level of men, that feminists are just going to get carried away and keep lifting even far beyond the equality line that I showed on my diagram earlier. No, feminism is there to lift women up until they reach the same level of men, and then it can stop, and we can all stop talking about it, and we can just believe in equality. But unfortunately, that is a long way away with the way the world is. But hopefully, because Amber Heard has shown that women are at least capable of abusing just as hard as men are, even though that's really bad, we are closer to achieving that reality now. Because here's the thing, Amber Heard has shown that women are equally as capable of being monstrous, and therefore equally as capable in general, right? I think that's a step on the way to being viewed that way. If we're equally as capable of being absolute abusive monsters as men, then maybe, hopefully now, we will soon be seen as being equally as capable of anything as men, right? So the more women of the world show that we can be both evil and good, the closer we get to equality. This isn't me saying that all women should go out and abuse, by the way, just to prove that they're capable of abuse. Just want to clarify that there for some people who may not have understood that. See, the thing is, think about it, when somebody laughs at a male abuse victim and says, haha, you can't have possibly been abused by that weak little female, what they're really saying is, no woman could be capable of this. Therefore, if you're abused by one, you are pathetic. And do you see how this culture of thinking that women are not as capable, including in negative ways, actually really hurts men? Because male abuse victims are scared to speak up because they think they'll be ridiculed if they say that a woman was capable of abusing me. They'll think that everyone will think that they're just not a real man because they let this incapable woman do that to them. And that's not the case at all. Men are not weak if they end up being sadly abused by their female partner. They are just a human being in a situation where another human being, as all human beings are, was capable of abusing them and so did. It's not about you can't have been abused by a woman because women are not capable of abuse or indeed, you know, anything impactful on the world. But you see, Amber Heard was banking on this assumption being made. We can listen back to the audio tapes and she says, tell the world, Johnny, tell the world that I, a man, Johnny Depp, this famous, handsome, successful man, I too am a victim of domestic violence, and see who will believe or side with you. You see, Amber Heard knew that this inequality against women was actually going to benefit her to have no one believe that she could possibly be an abuser. And again, this is one of the surface level perks of being seen as the weaker sex. She was banking on all the world saying, do you know what? Women are really weak, so it's not possible that Amber Heard could have abused Johnny, even though all the evidence and facts and witnesses suggest otherwise. She was banking on the idea that we would all just rest on this historical misogynistic assumption that women can't do anything to have a real impact on a man, good or bad. She was banking on that. And if we'd all done that, if the jury had just let that assumption cloud their thoughts and obscured the actual facts of this case, maybe she would have gotten away with it. So this is an example of a woman using the patriarchy, misogyny, as a way to get away with something despicable, just because the shadow side of women not being viewed as capable humans is that women are also not viewed as being capable of all the complexity that humans are capable of, including evil and including abuse. And so I am so glad that the jury was able to see past that veil, that historical assumption that we've all had that women are not capable, to see that women are in fact capable of anything because they're human beings like men are, right? Including abuse. And they were able to see the facts of this case, and the outcome was a just one in my opinion. So in closing, due to the fact that Amber Heard's lies were exposed in such a public, enormous way, I hope it will show to everyone that this assumption is outdated. It's an assumption that hurts men and women, because male abuse victims are not taken seriously if we operate on the basis that women are not as capable as men. And this is what I'm trying to say feminism wants. It wants justice, and it wants equality, and it wants women to be seen as equal for better or for worse. We don't want these surface level perks of getting away with abuse or being paid for at dinner. We want equality. We want to be viewed of as human beings who are capable of everything, including things that may not actually benefit us to be seen as capable of. We just want equality, that's all. Anyway, I really hope that this will be a turning point in the way that society views women at large. Although on one hand you could view Amber Heard's false allegations as detrimental to future female victims of domestic abuse, who may now have to face more skepticism instead of being believed immediately, I actually think that that's only fair, because I actually believe that a healthy amount of skepticism for all allegations of abuse or other horrific things is all part and parcel of creating a world where women are viewed as actually being just as capable of being the abuser as men, and therefore just as deserving as a healthy dose of skepticism as a man might have, for instance, if he launched a campaign of domestic abuse allegations against a woman. Because we can't just throw these allegations around, we have to look at the facts and examine details before we can come to an outright conclusion. And we certainly shouldn't be coming to an outright conclusion of who is likely to be the abuser and who is likely to be the victim based on the biological sex. Like, come on people, it's 2022, we can do this. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't, please leave your hate comments down below, because it actually helps boost me in the algorithm and might generate some interesting discussion. So even if you leave a hate comment, it helps me out, but please leave your comments down below of whatever you think about what I'm saying. I'm always up for an interesting discussion in the comments, and thanks for watching.